Okay. Welcome back, everyone, to our second lecture today, BC314, Media and Technology in Ministry. We're going to start off a new lesson now, and we're going to talk about digital engagement, digital communications and engagement. So this is lesson number 11. And we're going to go over different communication tools that we have and that we are engaging, and some of us obviously would be familiar with several of these tools that we can use for communications and engagement. So when we talk about digital engagement, we are basically saying, okay, sorry, let me mention these tools. We'll talk about websites, emails, messaging, virtual meetings, content platforms. We'll talk about app, and in this case, church app, podcast, and then we will talk about social media platforms and other software platforms. We'll kind of build up slowly. And the goal here, as we go through all this, is not to get into the technical details. I'll maybe mention a few things, but more to give us an exposure to all of these tools that are there, how we can use them, so some good ways to use, don't do this kind of thing, and just sharing our own experiences in the use of this and seeing what others are doing in these spaces. So when we began this course, we saw that globally people are engaged digitally. People are online, and they're using all various tools, and they're getting their information online. They're connecting with other people online. So digital communications and engagement is very important for almost every church. Maybe in some remote places, if people are not, and this is very rare, but people are not so digitally engaged, maybe it's not needed. But in most parts of the world, people are connected. People are engaging digitally, and so it becomes necessary for every local church to engage with people digitally, right? So we need, when I say we, every local church needs to have strategies. How are you going to engage with people inside the church, and how are you going to engage with people outside the church? And these are different. How we would, what we want to do with engaging people who are part of the congregation, our regular attenders, would be different from those we're seeking to reach outside, who we want to introduce to the faith and give them opportunity to explore the faith, Christian faith. So our strategies and what we do, the kind of content we produce, would obviously be slightly different. So it's always good to think about these things, right? And then to have a very, very thoughtful approach in dealing with whether you're reaching the congregation, you're reaching the crowd. So some questions we would need to think about is, who are these people? When you talk about congregation, who is the congregation? Who are the people in the congregation? Are the people in the congregation, comfortable using digital media, digital tools, and so on? So who are the people who are outside the church that we are intending to reach? What are their needs? What are their immediate needs that we could try and address through using these digital tools? Where and how are they likely to interact digitally? So where would these people be? Are they on primary social media platforms? Can we connect with them through WhatsApp, email, website, etc.? You got to think about, okay, here are all these touch points with these people. Similarly, those outside the church. What digital channels can be used to serve them? Do they all like to watch YouTube videos, or what do they like to do? And then what are the objectives we want to achieve when we reach them digitally? Do we want to strengthen them in the faith? Do we want to answer questions? We want to just inform them about events that are happening? What is it that we want to achieve? And you ask. And so in order to achieve that, what kind of content must we provide? Was it mainly video content? Is it text content? Is it, other kinds of content? And, what form should these content take? In short videos, longer form videos, so on. So I think what content will really serve these groups of people. And then, of course, when we start doing this, we need to evaluate, modify, go through the whole cycle again, keep repeating, keep checking progress, see how we are doing. Are we being effective? Are we not? What's working? What's not working? And keep repeating this, right? The point is, we need to think through on digital engagement. We can't just be random. We set up some accounts on different platforms and just start doing something at random. No, there's a lot of thought behind it. And what needs to be done? How does it need to be done? And also a lot of evaluation, right? We have to keep checking, is it being effective, or are we wasting our time doing things? So, the opportunities are there. There are a lot of digital tools for communication and engagement. We have to be very thoughtful in how we go about using this, right? And just a note here on evaluating progress. We should not get caught up with vanity metrics, right? Now, there are a lot of easy to see metrics like, how many views, how many likes, how many comments, a post had. But these you generally refer to as vanity metrics, meaning they don't really tell us the real story. Because if somebody watches, and I think I've mentioned this before, even if somebody even watches, let's say there's a sermon that's 45-minute sermon, if somebody watches even a few seconds of it, generally it's like, let's say 30 seconds or something, that's counted as a view. Or if you're doing an ad, a 5-second ad or 20-second ad, even if people watch 3 seconds of the ad, it's counted as a view. But actually the ad was much longer. So the view count doesn't give us the real picture of how many people actually watched the full 40-minute sermon, or how many people actually watched the full ad that we ran, which may have been 15 seconds. Because if they watch 3 seconds, YouTube or whichever platform, they'll mark it as one view. So the view count or the likes or so on, while it's a very visible number and it's easy to look at, it doesn't tell us that, it doesn't give us a real picture. Right? And of course, in many cases, you can artificially increase the view count by promoting that sermon. You pay some money and you push the sermon across, and the YouTube algorithms will present this, will keep on presenting this sermon or whatever to so many people, and the view count keeps growing, but doesn't mean they all watch the full sermon, right? So those metrics, we call them as vanity metrics. They're not giving us a real story. There are analytics. That means you go behind the scenes, you look at most of these social media platforms provide analytics that the admin or somebody who has admin access to the account can go look at, which means they tell you, they give you a lot more detail on, what was the duration for which you had people watching the video. So, people watched, the video was 40 minutes, people watched, 35 minutes, 40 minutes, that's a good count, because that's how many people actually watch the sermon as opposed to the view count. And that's the number we want to look at, because that's giving us the real picture. They'll tell you, people, which parts of the world were these people from, etc. How many watched in real time, how many watched later, so on and so forth. And other questions we should be asking is, are new people being reached? How would we know they're new people unless they kind of tell us, So, but that's the real thing. We want to know, are we reaching new people? Are people taking the first step to engage with us? Are we able to collect their contact information so we can then continue to serve them and reach out to them? How are people finding us online? And are we taking people through from step 1, step 2, step 3? Like, okay, they came to our website or they came to something. Are we taking them to another step to engage with us, essentially? So these kinds of questions will give us a better understanding of our effectiveness in digital engagement. That means, are we actually engaging with people? Are we actually reaching new people and actually engaging with them, as opposed to people just viewing our video for 3 seconds or 30 seconds? They just come and go. We haven't achieved anything, right? So we need to ask those real questions and try to understand digitally, are we making progress? Right? There are many examples we can think of on, and this is a few examples. There are many new examples to think of how you can engage people digitally. For example, contact cards. When we tell people, go online, please sign up, many will not be interested in you. But if you offer an ebook and say, hey, you sign up, you'll get a free book, that would draw more people, and then you can see a result. You can say, okay, did this offering a free book bring about any result? Or, what if we do seminars or webinars online and addressing real needs and seeing how many people actually connect to that webinar, or can we, what if we, if we do a website that addresses some of the questions that people who are searching want to have addressed. They're searching for answers. So if we create a website that addresses that, and see how many people are engaging with us, or addressing the issue of marriage, seeing how many marriages we can help. You can even do a marriage retreat online. Maybe more people will participate. So a lot of different things, a lot of ideas. This is some few ideas that churches have tried. So in thinking about this, here's just a little exercise, right, that you can think about. So if we want to develop a digital engagement strategy that is targeting teenagers and young adults, so we're going from a wide range, 13 to 23. What should our strategy be, right? So urban teens and young adults, or maybe you're targeting teens and young adults in a different context, maybe in a small town setting. What should your engagement strategy be? Again, it depends on whom you're targeting. Are you targeting teens and young adults in the urban context, or maybe in a semi-urban? Are you targeting locally, or are you targeting them globally? Right? Just depending on who you're targeting, you will develop a strategy. Right? But it's something to think about. And how do you go about it? What are the main platforms they're using? Then you go online, you see what are people doing today, where are they, spending their time, and then you try to reach them through those platforms and connect with them. Okay? So what I want to just communicate is, the main thing that we want to communicate here is digital engagement digital communications. While there are so many tools available, we must take a very thoughtful approach in how we want to engage with people. And we need to know our audience. We need to see how we want to serve them and what content will serve that purpose. And then we need to evaluate correctly and keep on improving. Okay. So before I get into the first one, which is websites, let me just pause here and see if anybody has any questions, any thoughts on just the strategy that we need to have when we want to engage with people digitally. Any questions on that? Any thoughts on that? On, just how you think through on developing strategy. I've given that little table there, which has some useful questions to help us. But if there's anything else anybody wants to ask, welcome. Okay. So, the general trend is people just, okay, let me just set up an account, YouTube account, Facebook account, Instagram. Okay, and I start posting something. And I think, that's how generally many churches and ministries get started. And that's okay. Those are the first steps. But at some point, we need to sit down and think, right? Who are we wanting to reach? And we go through those same questions that I put on that table there. How do you want to reach them? What kind of content do we want to serve them? And how do we measure our progress? So at some point, we need to sit down and think through those questions. Otherwise, we'll just be randomly doing something and we don't know. We may not know if we're being effective or not. So let's go now and talk a little bit about websites. Okay? Nowadays, it's almost a given that churches, especially if you're in the city, you're expected to have a website. In times past, when you went to a church, they would give you a bulletin, okay? Maybe a weekly bulletin or a monthly bulletin, and that little bulletin would be four sides, 6 sides, whatever. Will have all these are events. These are the ministries happening. These are the people you can contact, etc. It used to be that way, but nowadays, when you go to most cases in a city, in urban context, you just go online to see the church's website. If you want to find out what time are the services, where are the locations, where is the church office. I want to reach somebody in the church office. We usually just go online and look up their website, and they're expecting to really get to know the church through their website. It's just a given almost. And to not have a website, especially in an urban context for a local church, is actually like you're missing out on something, because usually people who are coming or looking for a church, who want to attend a local church, they will want to get some information about the church. And the first place they go to is they go to see if this church has a website and try to get some information. Okay? So having a website for the church is quite important. And these days, you can engage a web developer, a graphic designer, somebody. You can engage people easily to build a website for the church. So that's generally how it's done. Now, in creating this website, you would use what is known as generally you'd use a content management system. These are readily available, open source. Many of these are open source. You can set them up. You can get these people, web developer, graphic. You can get them to set it up, and you can tell them what you want to put on the website. So usually you'll use a content management system. Sometimes people may build just static pages, HTML pages, and so on. So that's also fine if it's a small website. But if it's a larger website, then it is useful to use what is called a content management system. And if people want, they could even do it themselves. But in many cases, you would engage one or two technical people to do it for you. Okay? Now, just one passing remark that I want to make is that if you are hiring people to build a website, keep full control of the important things, which is the domain, control the domain name, the account, the login information, all that. Keep it, because we've had some Christian organizations reach out to us in the past, like at least 2 or 3 that I can think of right now, where what has happened is they engaged somebody to build a website for them, and whoever was doing that work for them just took control and kind of actually held them at ransom, so to speak. And they held the Christian organization like, we got control on this, and unless you pay us this money or do this for us, we won't give you control on your website. So having seen that happen, it's always good saying that, hey, you as an organization, you need to have full control on what belongs to you, and don't let the developer or outside person that you're engaging take control and then later on cause troubles. Right? Now, very important when you think about a website, you want to choose a very easy domain name, something that people can easily remember, easy to type. You don't want something too long. And if your church name is very long, you can use the mnemonic, like what we are doing for APC. Now, ours is All People's Church and World Outreach, so we just use APCWO. So, when you repeat it, people begin to remember it. And it's actually just a mnemonic for All People's Church and World Outreach. So you can do that. So you find some meaningful name, like our APC Music or Examining Jesus, something that's easy to remember. Usually there's a registry called Whois, where they're all names. They have a registry called the domain names. You can see if the name that you're looking for is available or not, and then you can register your name. And then you would set up a hosting provider for your website. And again, you don't need to know all these technical details, but this is just for information's sake. When somebody types out that domain name in a web browser, it looks up the registrar. The registrar says, oh, that domain name is sitting on this particular server, the address of the server. And so the traffic is redirected there and comes back. So that's how it works. Okay. There are a lot of hosting providers that you could use. I just mentioned 1 or 2 here. Now, important thing is this. When you're building your church website, again, you need to give thought to it. Right? One, of course, is what kind of a website do you want to have? First of all, the look, the appearance of the website. Do you want it to be contemporary? Do you want it to be classic, traditional? So it all depends on whom you're trying to reach, the young people you're trying to reach, the image, what you're trying to convey to the people. Or we are very contemporary, church or whatever, or we're very classic, traditional, whatever, depending on how you want to position the church. And what objectives do you want to achieve through your website? Do you want to just give them information? Like, we said the bulletin or the brochure content goes online, so people can find out what time, services, etc. Or do you want to provide resources? Or do you want to raise finances? Do you want to sell some of your church products or whatever? Or do you want to get people to sign up for events and so on? So what are the things you want to achieve through your website? You need to think about. One of the things that we decided for APC is we want to be a global repository. So we want apc.org to be a place where Christians from all over the world would come in order to have free resources given to them in the form of sermons, whether it's audio or video, in the form of Christian books. That's the goal for APC website. The secondary goal is, of course, providing information about the church, locations, getting people to register for events and so on. But the main thing, we wanted APC website to be a repository of Christian content where people can come and just use it. And, and we are in some measure, achieving that goal, where year after year we're seeing, basically people from almost every country on the earth. They're coming to our website, they're downloading our books, sermons, sermon notes. And so right from 2004, we started putting all our sermon notes and videos, whatever, audio, video later on, putting on our church website. So we have close to 21 years of sermons on a website, books, the PDFs in different languages, audio books, so on, and our TV programs. So everything is there, and people from all over the world are now coming in and using it. And every year we're seeing, huge growth in how many books are being downloaded, how many people are coming and using it. And we monitor this month on month. Every month we see, okay, this month so many people have come from so many countries and using our books. So, for example, in the month of January, this past month, we had 80,000 downloads of our Christian books. We had over 6,000 downloads of our sermon PDFs. So just in this one month, this past month, and there are people from 175 countries come in this past month to use what we're putting on our church website. So we see, we can see month by month, the numbers just keep going up, and people are coming and using these free resources. But that was a very intentional objective that we wanted to achieve through APC website, that apc.org. We wanted it to be a place where Christians from all over will come in and begin to use our resource. And that's exactly what we're seeing happen month after month as the numbers go. So we need to think about that. What are the objectives for achieving? Then, so then you structure your website. Typically, you have a homepage about us, all these pages. Important, use layouts that are pleasant. There should be no spelling errors in text and graphics. Content must be up to date. So people don't want, sometimes you go to a website and you see the date, or the dates are from, 2 years ago, so on and so forth. And you know that they haven't kept their website updated. So immediately people lose interest and they leave. All the links must be working. The website must be very intuitive and easy for people to find the information that they're looking for. Right? And so these are some basic things when we are doing the website. And some useful things, it's useful for people to, for you to collect contact information so that you can keep building your database of contacts that you can then inform them, share with them, send them emails and so on. So like that, we keep building our database, and people can also register for upcoming events. So it makes it very easy. They don't have to call the office or anything. They can just register online. So a lot of things can be done. And then the other useful thing is to integrate your social media accounts so that your website is then connected to all the other social media platforms you're serving. And then you also optimize your website for search engine. That means when people are searching for information, they need to find your website. and I will just demonstrate some things about our websites in a few minutes from now. They need to find that when they search, they need to be able to find your website, so that your website should come up preferably on the top of the first page. So then that's where likely people are going to click and come to your website. So for example, somebody's in Bangalore, they're looking for a church to attend. When they type in churches in Bangalore, or when they type in, spirit-filled churches or word-based churches, or those kinds of things, your church website should come up. Or when people are looking for Bible colleges, or they're looking for certain content, it should come up. So what we've done over time is we put in a lot of effort into making sure that not only our website, but also the content within our website comes up on Google searches globally. So people from anywhere in the world, when they're searching for content, the website should come up, or the content on the website should come up. So, let's try to do a little quick demo of that and see how APC website is doing. Oh, can you see my blank screen, the web? Yeah. Okay. Can you see my browser now? I'm not sure if I'm sharing the right stop sharing. All right. Okay. You can see this tab. So suppose I just search for, let me do Spirit-filled Church. Spirit-filled Church, Bangalore. Right. So these are churches listed in the Google directory, and the search result you see, like right on top, is All People's Church. Right. So the first church that you find here, we are listed number one. Right. So we can, so that's the goal. And then you see Christian CFC and so on, right? So let's say if somebody searches for word-based churches in Bangalore, so you have City Harvest AG Church there, and then you have All People's Church being listed. Yeah. So this is, this is what we want to see happen. That is, we want to see when people search, we want to be ranked on top. Right? So even if you see Pentecostal churches in Bangalore, let's see, if somebody's searching Pentecostal churches, yeah, you see All People's Church listed. We are like number 3 here, but it's listed up here, right? So for different key phrases that people would search, our goal is to be on top, right? So let's say charismatic churches. I don't know if many people use that word these days, but churches in Bangalore. These are directory, and the first one here is All People's Church. So we have intentionally we built content that helps us be there. Or if somebody may search full gospel churches in Bangalore, of course FGAG church is there, and there's All People's Church in the rank number 2 here. So for many of these key phrases, we have churches, All People's Church listed there. You're all able to see my screen, right? Okay, I hope you are. I'm not able to hear anyone. Okay, let's think about Bible colleges. Spirit-filled Bible colleges. Of course, we get a lot of foreign colleges. So we are not listed here. Yeah, so there are lots of other Bible colleges being shown. Okay. Yeah, so APC Bible College comes up, but we are on the 3rd page. Yeah, so our goal is to be on the 1st page, but we come on the 3rd page. And this is a global search. Right? So what if we search for a Spirit Bible College in India? If you say in India, then we come upon right on top, first rank number 1. Right? So globally, we are on the 3rd page, but when people say within India, we are number 1, and here also there's another one, number 3. So if you say online, free online Bible colleges, it's a free online Bible college. Again, there are lots of free online Bible colleges, and so that is APC rank. Yeah, so again, we are on the 3rd page, APC Bible College online. You know, so we'd like to definitely improve that ranking for online Bible colleges. But if you do online Bible colleges in India, then definitely we would be, right on top, number 1. Okay. Now, the other thing I just want to point out is Google search, or searches have changed the way they do things. We have this AI overview, and came up in the last 1 year or so, where Google presents a quick summary of the search, and so to be able to get listed here, it's a big thing, right? So for APC Bible College to be listed as in this AI overview is a good thing, and it's a big thing. Now, if we search for free Christian books, so we search for free Christian books globally. There are a lot of websites offering free Christian books, and APC is listed on the 1st page, but we are now down to number 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5. Yeah, 5. So we come up, but we are on the rank number 5 on the 1st page, but rank 5 or 6 on the 1st page, 3, 4, 5, 5. Right? So people will just search, or sometimes they may search free Christian books PDF. Some people will search, and they do free Christian books PDF. We are ranked number 1 because we are offering our books as PDF. Right? So for various phrases, we have optimized our thing. So let's say if people search for a book ministering healing and deliverance, so if people search for this phrase, ministering healing deliverance, anywhere in the world, we are ranked here. So number 1 here, and because of the notes and the resources we're offering for free. Of course, a lot of other ministries are there, but so if similarly like this, people search for different content, our goal is to be ranked, way up in the Google searches. We can also pretend that we are in a different country and search, and we can see that for certain phrases, certain books, or certain content, our APC website will be ranked on top. Right? So let me stop sharing. Yeah. So the idea is that creating a website is one thing, but creating it very thoughtfully, what you want to achieve through the website is the next. And then getting that website to be visible globally is a big thing, because if you think about it, there are literally thousands, probably, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of Christian websites all over the world. So how is, your website going to become visible? Well, what do people do? They search. They want something, they go online, they search. So the goal is that you have to build the website in such a way, and there are ways to do it. People who are technical, they know how to do it, where it is optimized so that when people search, it comes up. Maybe the goal is to be first on the first page, if you can, but at least to be within the, on page 1, that's great. If not, page 2, page 3, so that, if people scroll, the chances of them finding you would be high, right? So there are ways to do. There's the knowledge, the way to do it, make it happen, and we should. So that's what we've been working on. One of the things we've been working on for our APC website, our Bible College website, and also Chrysalis counseling. So when people are looking for Christian counseling, they will search, and that's one way through which people come to Chrysalis counseling, because they find us online. Then they will send an email or they will call and we'll schedule an interview. And we are working on getting that even better, right? So then our goal is to serve people globally. So that, because counseling if you do it online, you can serve people globally. So all of these websites, we are continually working on improving these things so that we will rank higher. And anywhere in the English-speaking world, if you search, whether you're sitting in the US or Australia, New Zealand, or UK, or France, or anywhere in the English, wherever people you're searching in English, the goal is they should find our content, because only then will people be able to use that content, right? And the other thing is the way these search engines work is constantly changing. The way Google, for instance, how Google does its searches is constantly changing. New things have come on because of AI and so on. So we need to stay up to speed with technology, and how we can make sure that our content is always ranked on top. So it's an ongoing effort. It's not a one-time work. It's something we keep on doing week after week to make sure that people have access to our content. And we can see it's working because we keep measuring how many people are coming, which countries, which cities. And we can see, year on year, the trend of increase and so on. Okay. We have just 5 minutes left. Anybody has any questions? We can try to answer some questions, and then we'll continue this next week. Any questions? Okay. All right. So let's stop here for today. We'll continue this next week, and we'll talk more on all of the different ways by which we can engage with people digitally, and some practical things and our own journey we'll share. Okay. Thank you. Have a good day.